Welcome to Grief and Gratitude Podcast. We're your hosts, Mandy and Crystal.
This is a space for honest conversations about loss, healing, and everything in between. Each week, we share stories, perspectives, and moments that remind us that even in the hardest seasons, gratitude can still exist. Thank you for sharing space with us. We're really glad you're here. Welcome to our fourth episode. Today we thought we would lighten things up a little bit and talk about signs. But before that, I just wanted to acknowledge Holly, grief counselor, who really helped me through the early months of my loss. She was better than any therapist I saw. So Holly, gratitude to you. Some people believe our loved ones send us signs after they've died. Others see these moments as coincidence, memory, or the brain trying to make sense of loss. There's no right or wrong way to understand them. People often describe signs like finding feathers or coins, hearing a song at just the right moment, seeing repeating numbers, dreams that feel different than normal dreams, or sensing a presence when they need comfort most. What makes these moments meaningful isn't the object itself, it's the timing and the feeling that comes with it. I don't think signs are about proof. I think they're about connection, about love finding a way to reach us when words are gone. Whether these moments are spiritual, psychological, or something in between, they arrive when we're hurting and they help us keep going. Grief opens us up. We notice more, we listen more closely, and sometimes that openness allows us to experience comfort in ways we didn't before. You can believe in signs and still question them. You can want them and miss them. You can notice one and then talk yourself out of it. All of that is normal. If you've experienced something that felt like a sign, you don't have to explain or defend it. You're allowed to hold it quietly just for yourself. I say if it makes you feel better, why not think of it as a sign? It doesn't hurt anybody. Crystal, do you have any signs you'd like to share?
I do. Thank you, Amanda. I think the first sign, it was really my strongest actually sighting. Really, I saw my sister in full form. It was some time ago now, probably 16 years ago, at my baby shower that you were also at, Amanda. I don't know if you remember. We had it at my Aunt Donna's place. And I'm going to say it was like 15 to 20 people. So family and friends that were there. And I remember, I was very pregnant. Definitely, my oldest was 16 in August. So a little over 16 years ago, at this baby shower, sitting in the sunroom around in a circle. So everyone's sitting there, and we kind of did the very traditional, like, there's there's a pregnant woman, right? You're handing off gifts to me, and I'm opening the gifts one by one, and there's food, and I'm finding whoever gave me the gift and thanking them for that gift. I wouldn't say I was thinking of Jen consciously at that time. It's really an experience with Jen. Like, she's just always on my mind. She's always, right? She's always around, but I wasn't. And I think having a baby shower and not having her there, of course, was something where it's like bittersweet. But I wasn't thinking of her strongly at that time. I was really trying to just, do the thing and get through my gifts. I was opening a gift, and then went to say thank you. And on the card, it was from Amanda. And I had realized there was two Amandas there. So you, Amanda, and then a really good friend of Jen's, Amanda Richer. Her last name's changed now from marriage, but she was also there. And I remember looking around to thank the person, and either one of my friends, Shayla or Lindsay, had said, no, like this Amanda. I don't know if it was you, Amanda, or if it was the other Amanda, but I remember looking to that area. And in that area, I still didn't see Amanda. Like, I just looked over and kind of like, thank you. But I saw Shayla and I saw Lindsay. And then there was it was in the kitchen. There was those cabinets where there's then that open space to put a microwave.
Mm-hmm.
It was in that kitchen. It was an open cabinet. There was a microwave in there. And I looked over, I'm looking for Amanda to say thank you. And instead of the microwave being there, it was Jen. Like, it was literally Jen, alive, smiling, her foot up, like just kind of tucked
Mhm.
into that space. It was like it just was, like, I see it and I'm like, "What is happening?" And I close my eyes, like, quickly and open them, and then their microwave was there.
Hmm.
So, for me and I don't know that I ever even shared it, it was, like, just part of the day,
Yeah, I don't
you know,
remember
it
hearing about it.
no, it was just part of the day. It was quickly, but it was like, if you know Jen, her smile, right? Like
Mhm.
it's that very particular, beautiful teeth, like beautiful
Mhm.
smile. It was just her so happy looking on at me and me feeling this sense of peace of her being there and then kind of being like, realizing that wouldn't be normal and closing my eyes and opening them for it just to be the microwave. And then I moved on, with the baby shower. And I don't know, I think the reason I didn't talk about it much or it didn't even sidetrack my day at all was because it just felt normal. Right. Like it just after the fact, I think we can really get in our heads and be like,
Mhm.
well, that's weird, or that doesn't add up, or that doesn't make sense, or what was going on for me. But it was a perfectly like normal moment, just busy baby shower. And my sister was there. And for me, that was the most like her presence to see her physically in her presence. That wasn't in a dream state.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
Do you have any
Do
other
you?
you wanna share, or do you want me to share?
Yeah, why don't I think I have one other, there's so many. I have one other I'm happy to share, but why don't we kinda give you a chance
Okay.
to share a story and I can
Yeah. So I have
yeah.
3 really strong signs that I just find undeniable. People can say coincidence or whatnot, but I know it's Declan. So a couple weeks after he transitioned, we took Finn to a pumpkin patch because it was October and, that's just what you do. So we went to a pumpkin patch and I wasn't really like, of course, I was thinking about Declan, but I was trying to, focus on Finn and just get through the day. And it was still very fresh. So just trying to be normal. And so Finn was playing on this tractor and he was coming down the slide. And I'm just looking around and there's all these people. And I look to my left and I see this, I don't know, maybe 30-year-old guy. He had this backpack on and it said Declan on it and it was red, which is Declan's favorite color. And I just thought, wow, Declan is here. Like he was telling me he's okay. He's here. That's not a very common name, I don't think. Declan, I don't hear many Declans. And then, of course, being red, his favorite color, it just was very comforting. And I think that was the first sign from him. And then it gets better.
Mm.
So the next couple are better. I mean, they're all good, but then the next 2 I think I cried. So the next one I will share is I listen to a lot of podcasts about spirituality and death and grief and mediums and you name it. And I was listening to one particular podcast that I listen to every week, and they were talking about signs also. And they said that spirits really do like when you ask for specific things. And so in my head, I was like, okay, what can I ask for? And for some reason, yellow flowers came to mind. At Declan's celebration of life, his third grade teacher was talking about how he would leave yellow flowers for her at lunch all the time. And so I just thought of yellow flowers. And so I said, okay, Declan, I want to see some yellow flowers later today. And they say, like, don't put a timeline on it and, it'll happen. But I gave him a timeline because that's me. And so I'm just going on with my work day and thinking, okay, I got to go for a walk later. I got to go find some yellow flowers. And maybe a couple hours later, I hear a knock on the door and I answer the door and it was Michael's mom. And she said, oh, I was just out walking and I saw these yellow daffodils and thought of you and I wanted to bring them to you. And I just thought that was crazy and beautiful. And thank you, Declan. And I just knew it was him. And since then now, yellow flowers always make me think of him. But that was a really nice treat he gave to me. So yeah, that
And
one's
he followed through, right?
he
You're his
did.
mom. You're his mom. He's like, I got a timeline. Mom,
Mhm.
I'm not letting you down. Grandma, make this happen.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it was wonderful. But I'd love to hear yours.
Of course. So it's interesting too. I think, like you said, with signs, people can see them as coincidence or question them. And for me, the kind of beauty in it is just if we let ourselves, we just know,
Mhm.
right? We don't, the more we kind of use our very conscious, logical mind and kind of thinking about it too scientifically, we are then pulled away from the spiritual. We're then pulled away from these potential connections we're having. So, what's been helpful to me is when I have a sign, if it's Jen, it's Jen. You know, if that's what it is for me, as you said before, it's not hurting anyone.
Right, if it
Even
makes
if it
you feel
wasn't,
good, why not just let it be?
yeah, it's what you were given. So I don't my sister Erica and I actually went to it was within a year or so of Jen passing. There was an author at our Barnes and Noble who wrote and I've been trying to find the book. I'm going to find it. It's not the soul book, but it's something like that. It's right, it has to do with the soul.
Jen will let you know at the right time.
She will. She's gonna tell me. I'm like Googling. Me and Erica both got like signed copies of this book, right? We read the book. We found it to be at that time it was very comforting. And it was this idea. I remember one story within the book is this belief that, you know, even when we're sleeping, our souls are never sleeping. So even on earth or beyond that, souls are amongst each other to the extent you and I could be sleeping and our souls could be engaged,
Mhm.
right? Where you have a dream of someone like who's to say it's separate. But I remember reading that and just having finding comfort in that. And around that time, I really opened myself in my mind I wasn't questioning things anymore. So even when I went to dream, really, I wouldn't per se ask for it, but I would pray, like, if I could, you know, if Jen, your soul and my soul both have the capacity, I would really love to see you tonight and just let things play out with no expectation. And there was a night where I was dreaming, and in the dream, I was in Kenya. I was in a village in Kenya, and there was all these like mud huts not far from each other, maybe I don't know, 15 they're quite close together. So imagine yourself in a village and there's these mud huts with maybe 20 feet between them or so. And all of a sudden, I'm there in Kenya, which I didn't know it to be a dream. I'm in Kenya and I had been not too long ago. And all of a sudden, Jen was there. And I see Jen, Jen sees me. We both like light up, are like, oh my gosh. And then right away after the like, pure joy. It's like we both then knew in life, in real life, right? Like when we wake up, this isn't true. And I looked at her and I was like, we're like, this isn't real. And together we're like, this isn't real. We're together. We don't have long. And we embraced each other so strong. I felt it. We held hands and we just ran through the village, hut after hut after hut. And then got, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 through. And I woke up and I woke up like, so it wasn't, there was no feelings of sadness, like she's not here. It was like, no, I was just with her. We knew she isn't here in this realm and I'm not with her in her realm, but we were given that experience and we just did it, you know, and I never, it was, we were both together. And I know that to be true.
I agree with that. I think I've experienced something similar with Declan. And it feels real and it is real to me. I don't question it at all. So I'll share one more that this one is probably my favorite and definitely made me cry the most. So when Declan was brought to the funeral home, they offered us a chance to spend time with him before he was cremated. And I decided to take that opportunity to do that. And I wasn't really sure how it works or so I called them and I was like, "Do you need clothes? Do you want me to bring clothes?" And they were like, "Well, you can." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to bring clothes. I'll be over later." And so I picked out his favorite shirt and shorts and brought them to the funeral home. And they said, "Okay, come back later this afternoon and you can spend as much time as you need." And so I went and spent time with him, and he was in his favorite shirt and he looked like himself. And I just spent as much time as I could. I didn't want to leave because I knew that was the last time that I was ever going to see him or be able to touch him again, but I couldn't stay there all night. So I spent as much time as I could and then I left and went to sleep. And the next day I woke up and I was like, why did I bring his favorite shirt? I should have kept his favorite shirt for myself and brought one of his other shirts. And I was so mad and I thought about it for weeks. And that was September. So Easter morning, I was a little short on things to put in eggs. So I ran to the store for some last minute things and I'm walking through the store and I see the clearance section and I got kind of sad and remembered, oh, every time I would walk through here, I'd always check to see if they had something in Declan's size and or something that he would like. But I was like, okay, don't get sad. Just go. You came here to do what you need to do. And so I went and I got candy and some other things. And I walk over to the checkout line and I'm standing in line and I just kind of look around and I see a stack of clothing in the women's section, just like right at the checkout line. And I was like, that's weird. So I walked over because something was just calling me to go look at it because it was out of place and it didn't belong there. And so I walk over and it was a stack of clearance shirts. It was Declan's favorite t-shirt. They had them on clearance and it was right at the checkout where I could see. And I was like, he told me to come here and get his favorite shirt. So I went through and I found like the biggest shirt I could get. And I was like, I'm going to wear this all the time. And I bought his favorite shirt. And so I have his favorite shirt still. It's not the one he wore, but it's the same exact one. And I bought it and I cried the whole way home. And I got home and I told Michael, I was so excited. I told everybody, I was just like, Declan gave me this. This is a gift from him to me. And it was just so beautiful. And since then I've gotten, other signs, but that was definitely one of the most meaningful because I was so upset that I gave that favorite shirt, even though now I'm looking back and I'm like thankful he got to have his favorite shirt with him when he was transitioning and I get to have his favorite shirt here too. So we both have his favorite shirt.
You both won, right? Because if you would have kept it, then you could have had kind of this longing sense of regret that you didn't let Declan have it, right? For
Yeah.
those moments. And
Yeah.
then that regret you had was filled with you having your own. So you both have that.
Yeah.
And tell me when you would share that story because you were, so excited about it, what are people's general reactions? Were people excited for you too? Are the people that you share with like, oh my gosh, this is amazing?
Yeah. I would say some people were like, oh, that's definitely him. He definitely sent that to you. Most like Michael was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Most guys aren't really like
Yeah.
into the spirituality of things, but everybody was supportive. Even if they thought I was crazy, they still were like, "That's really cool." So
Like Amanda's happy. We can't, right?
yeah,
Let's not rain on her parade. We need to let her have this. I think it is worth letting people have that space. And it's really about being open minded,
hmm
right? Even when you mentioned, we were talking about it before with, kind of stereotypically and generally, it seems like a good number of men, maybe two in our age range. So, because I think the younger generations, are a bit more open minded, but men our age, right, 40s plus, they kind of
I'm not in my 40s.
And no, 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 totally. I don't know why I said that. That was weird. But of a certain age, of a certain traditional, and it's kind of this masculine, it's layered, right? But
Mhm.
men don't necessarily share in it.
Or they just keep
Wouldn't
it to themselves.
Right. Where exactly? Or they don't have more men like women, like we've said, we've had 200-ish people listen and so many people reach out to us individually that knew us personally. And it's women, right?
Mhm.
Because women want to reach out and want to connect. So it would be amazing if we could create a space, I think, where more men knew like this is a space to come, to be able to share your story or listen to stories because it is more than yes or no, right or wrong, right?
Mhm.
Logical or not, because no one knows. So why not believe and and be open to that experience? With that said, I think it's important I think what me and you want to do, Amanda, is create a space that is open to stories and to making connections, not only with people we know, right? Because our network is only but so big, but with other people who are like, wow, that sign reminded me of this, or that made me remember this thing. And maybe I would find healing, right?
Or that story made me feel better and,
Yeah,
yeah, helped me get through a tough time that I was going through. 'Cause they can
absolutely.
do it. If they can get through this, I can get through this.
Absolutely. So, how do we do that? And I think that's where we're really asking for the listeners to not only like spread the word, but think of how can we make grief and gratitude a space where people are like, even I've had the worst week ever. And I know there's this 30-minute or hour long podcast that I can listen to alone in my room in the dark, right? Sleeping, crying, doing whatever. Or I can save and savor, right? In the morning with my cup of coffee. Or there's these women that I can write to and share, right? To build community. Like we really want you to listeners to reach out and give us advice because this is the very beginning. And the goal is for, I think, for me and you, Amanda, to have a space where we can safe a space we give ourselves first off, right? Even us being able to schedule this podcast, is it not
Mhm.
the funniest thing in the world? Because like you're juggling this, that, and the other, and I'm juggling this, that, and the other. And life sometimes it feels like doesn't give us a beat to just like be in our grief. Where it's important, we find ways. I think having this hour for me, I want it to be that space where it's almost like a good therapy session or a
Mhm.
good, right? If someone, people who go to church,
Well, that's what I was
a
gonna
good,
say. Just tell your story and see if it makes you feel better. Because I know talking about it makes me feel better, and you don't have to share your name. You can just send it along or you could give us a fake name, and we can
yeah.
share it. Just sharing is really very helpful.
Yeah, you don't have to be the one to share it. We can share it for you, or you can, right? You don't have to
Yeah.
use your name or whatever makes sense. But I think in the sharing, we create this space. It's like you're not alone and no one is alone. Quickly, if I can say, my granny actually said to me the other day, which was really powerful. She had fallen, she just had hip surgery. It was horrible, right? She's then in rehab and not in our home. She's 90 years old. And I'm talking to her and we're talking about God and praying for her. And she said to me, the other night, Crystal, I had just thought to God, like, why me? And then I thought, why not me? Why not me? Why wouldn't it be me? Right? Versus my neighbor, anyone else. Grief happens to everyone. There is no escaping it. There are people either themselves being the one to pass or to be in a tragedy, or the ones seeing it, or the ones left, right,
Mhm.
in this space. It's so many of us, right? And if not yet,
Well, and it's not just death either. It's
Yes,
many
exactly.
things. Losing a relationship. Um,
Grief. Yes, absolutely. Like, absolutely. A relationship, a work, a goal,
mhm.
a life you thought you were gonna have because it went this way, right? Like, there's so many things. So how can we create a space knowing no one's escaping it? And if telling your story would help you, it would absolutely help someone else. So I think, Amanda, you can share because I never remembered where would they write or how would they get a hold of us to provide a story or to ask about a date they could share their story or a way, to check in with us?
Yeah. So our email is griefandgratitude and then the number 2 at gmail.com. And I think there's also a link in the show notes that you can send a text or maybe even a link to the email, but I'll put it in the show notes anyway, so you can find it there. Um, and that's probably the best place to find it so you don't end up spelling it wrong. I mean, I would spell it wrong. I'd be like, 2? Is that number 2? Grief gratitude number 2?
2 or 2? 2
Yeah.
O's? 2? Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think and get at us, and then I know for people who can, sharing, whether it be Facebook or Instagram and downloading and so forth, like, it's really helpful because it allows other people to know about us, and if you know me or Amanda personally, please feel free to reach out in any capacity. We would love to hear your story and make you part of this community.
We also would love ideas for shows that you would like to hear about. That would be helpful for us too. I mean, we have so many things we could talk about, but
Absolutely.
yeah, people just giving us ideas of things that they would like to hear about, that would be really helpful too. And so I think that is it for this week. Next week is a surprise. We don't know what we're going to talk about. So send us an email, text us, send us a message on Facebook, however you want to do it. And we would love to hear from y'all.
We would take care of yourself, be good to yourself, and we'll talk soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Consider being a supporter of the show by downloading episodes, subscribing to the podcast, or clicking the support link in the show notes. You can also leave a 5-star review wherever you listen. If you would like to share your story, please message the Facebook or Instagram page. You can also email griefandgratitudepodcast@gmail.com. Tune in next Monday for an all-new episode. This podcast was created to honor the memory of Declan Shaw ONeil and Jennifer Lynn Berry.